Game, and it is, well, it's better than yesterday, let's just put it that way, but we are a mile high here, and it is awfully cold, Bob.
It is very cold, very windy down at field level. Should be another exciting afternoon for the defenders trying to run down pop-ups.
Washed out by cold and miserably wet conditions all day yesterday. Today we will play two here at Nats Park, a split doubleheader this afternoon, and then again later tonight, 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock Eastern times here in the nation's capital. So here's the lineup for game one. It's brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
Well, with two games scheduled for one day, you're likely to see an unusual lineup, and this so far this season is unusual. Dalton Varsho leading it off in center field. Ketel Marte will be at second base. David Peralta out in left field. One of the big changes, Seth Beer getting a start at first base while Cooper Hummel is the designated hitter. Jake McCarthy in right field, Sergio Alcantara at third base. Jose Herrera does the catching today with Geraldo Perdomo at shortstop, all behind Madison Bumgarner.
A couple of young power pitchers starting this doubleheader for Washington in game one. It's 24-year-old right-hander Josiah Gray, who makes his third start this year. He was acquired from the Dodgers at last year's trade deadline in the Max Scherzer deal.
Yeah, he was the Dodgers 2019 minor league pitcher of the year. Has a big fastball. You'll see fastball slider mostly against the right-handed hitters, fastballs and curveballs against the lefties, although I'm told that sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between his slider and his curve. One of those guys.
Let's take a look around the diamond now at the Washington defense, brought to us by E.D. Marshall Jewelers.
Victor Robles in center field. He'll be flanked by Lane Thomas in left. Juan Soto over in right field. Exciting young player. Michael Franco at third base. Alcides Escobar at short. Cesar Hernandez at second base. Big Josh Bell over at first, with Keibert Ruiz doing the catching for right-hander Josiah Gray.
D-backs 3-6 to open up the year. The only team in the National League West below 500 as we continue this NL East trip and begin 4 games in 3 days here at Nats Park in Washington, D.C. Plate umpires Nestor Ceja, Dalton Varsho, the center fielder, set to lead it off. And we're set to go on a full day and night of baseball for you here on Valley Sports Arizona. Mixed clouds and sunshine right now. It is very cool here. The wind is swirling inside this big ballpark, which is a little thin crowd-wise after last night's rain out. Folks are still wandering into the ballpark as we get underway here from the nation's capital.
Yeah, this is one of those days you'll see not only the pitcher blowing on his hand to try to keep it warm and get some grip on that baseball, the hitters blowing on their batting gloves, just trying to find a grip on that bat.
It is chilly. Of course, it's predicted to be almost 80 degrees here this weekend. We've got about 40 here today, but we'll make do. 1-1 on Dalton. You see that 185 batting average. Don't let it fool you. He's heating up, and I use that term loosely. He comes into today riding a 5-game hit streak. That includes his first home run of the year Friday in New York against the Mets.
Yeah, he's taken some good swings lately. It seemed like a lot of the Diamondbacks, Dalton included, that first week of the season, everybody was trying to go 10 for 8 at the plate instead of just relaxing, getting a pitch you know you can handle and put a good swing on it. He's done that lately.
3 defenders overshift now on the first base side. Fastball is up. Gray will work up in the zone like so many guys seem to now. And he's got some real power stuff. Made his major league debut as a Dodger with a couple of appearances just before the deadline last year, and then was sent here in the deal for Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. This is skied to short right. Soto coming in. Juan Soto has plenty of time to get under that one, and that's the first out. Yeah, Gray, after he arrived here in D.C. following his trade from the Dodgers, made a dozen starts for the Nationals, went 2-2 with an ERA just about 5 1/4. Here's Ketel Marte, the second baseman. 212 over his first 9 games. Ketel has it safely in 4 straight, 6 of his last 7, so he's pointed in the right direction as of late as well.
He's had some funny looking at bats from the right side of the plate, which is normally his stronger side. Obviously up there is a lefty against Gray this afternoon.
Got some bright sunshine out now. Clouds moving out over the river just to our right. 93 up in the zone again, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, the sun appears to be affecting the players on the left side of the field more so than the guys on the right side, based on the shadows we see behind the players down there.
The river is to our right, which is that east? We don't know. I left my compass in the hotel. 1-2. Cattell expanded the zone that time, and Gray gets his first strikeout.
Well, one thing we've noticed with Marte from both sides of the plate, he's struggling with spin so far in the early going this season. I mentioned from the right side he's struggled, especially with big breaking balls from left-handed pitchers, and this time just chases a bad slider out of the zone for strike 3.
Well, as you said, he does a nice job of mixing up his breaking balls, his secondary pitches, curveball maybe a little bit more than the slider. Change up once in a blue moon. Here's David Peralta, the freight train just off the train. What'd you think of the train ride, by the way? I thought it was pretty fun. Yeah,
I thought it was great.
Our congratulations to Roger Riley, the best in the business. It was smooth as silk getting down here from Penn Station.
Couldn't be any easier. And you wonder, why do you take a train for a 2.5, 3 hour ride when you can jump on a plane? Well, by the time you load up the buses, load up the equipment trucks, get to the airport, get on the plane, fly down here, get off the plane, and reverse the whole process, it probably takes 3 hours or more. So everybody enjoyed that train ride.
Yeah, it was very easy. Equipment truck out here ahead of us. So, boy, just piece of cake. Well done, Roger.
As
very
usual.
comfortable on the train, too.
Yeah, a lot of rooms, spread out and walk up to the dining car. That was nice.
You have experience hopping a train or two in your day. Trying to get to the parking garage. I didn't quite see like the old school stories you hear about the beat writers huddled up playing cards with the players.
Yeah.
We didn't quite get to that level, but it was a lot of fun. It was a good trip.
Yeah, cards used to be very popular back in the day on the plane flights and the bus rides and what have you. But, now with the iPhones and iPads and all kinds of stuff, you don't see as many guys playing cards in the back of the plane or the train in this case. But the guys that do, that's a high stakes game. It's a little rich for my blood.
Seth Beer on deck, the first baseman today. And David Peralta works the 2-out walk. Seth Beer, 381. He leads the D-backs in RBIs this year. And Torrey was telling us this morning he planned on giving Christian Walker a day off anyway, so this kind of worked out to have Seth get the defensive start at first. Curveballs to strike, and it's 0-1. Seth struck out as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning in Sunday's loss in New York, but he's been swinging the bat well lately. That snapped a 4-game hit streak for him. Talked about the idea that Torlavello was trying to move some chess pieces around the board to get Beer and Hummel in the lineup on the same day. Well, not only has he done that, but they're batting back-to-back here. Cooper is the DH. He's on deck. Ball and a strike. Peralta holds at first. Gray misfires way out there. It's 2-1. Nationals have their third baseman Maikel Franco way out there in very short right field, kind of the way the Padres do with Manny Machado. So they move their third baseman way out near the right field line. Here's a look, and you've got Hernandez and Escobar, a couple of veterans up the middle, second base and shortstop. Maikel Franco, the longtime Philly, now in D.C. 2-1 to Beer. He can really bring the heat. That's 93. It's an aggressive live fastball from Josiah Gray. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's what you hear people say about Gray's fastball. It may not show up as high velocity on the radar gun. 93, there's nothing wrong with that. But we've seen guys throwing 98, 99, 100. But his fastball seems to have a little extra life. It's a little extra backspin on that four-seamer.
Averaging 93 with that four-seam fastball. 2-2. Try the curveball. Seth lays off, and now it's full. That'll get the freight train on the tracks from first. I did see David Peralta running up and down the aisle of the train going choo-choo, choo-choo. I thought that was appropriate. May have seen that on D-Backs social media. Freight train on the train.
Yeah, probably a lot of pictures of that train on the players' Instagram today. I saw everybody had their phones out taking pictures of the train as we got on and off.
Bell backs off at first. There goes Peralta, and Beer is caught looking at a fastball. 2 strikeouts for Gray. We're in Washington, D.C. Madison Bumgarner coming up next. Park, left-hander Madison Bumgarner, your Game 1 starter for the Diamondbacks today. And Mad Bum at a pair of starts so far this year. San Diego and Houston has given up only 2 runs.
Yeah, a couple of no decisions for Mad Bum. He has walked 6 batters in 8 innings of work. However, as I mentioned in the open, 4 of those came in his final inning against the San Diego Padres on opening day. Just seemed to kind of lose it there for an inning. But for the most part, he's been really good. Typical Mad Bum.
Nationals off to a 4-7 start, tied with the Phillies at the bottom of the National League East. The Mets are the only team in this division above 500. Cesar Hernandez, the veteran second baseman, leads it off for Washington. Hernandez, the switch hitting infielder, 250, still without an extra base hit on the year. Broken bat grounded to third. Alcantara gobbles that one up. It's an easy out for Mad Bum. Here's the Nationals lineup presented by your Valley Chevy dealers.
Cesar Hernandez, the second baseman, goes down on that ground ball to third. Juan Soto, the right fielder, making his way to the plate. He'll be followed by Nelson Cruz, the designated hitter. Josh Bell at first base. Keibert Ruiz doing the catching. Maikel Franco at third base. Lane Thomas out in left field. Alcides Escobar at shortstop. Victor Robles is the center fielder, all behind the big right-hander Josiah Gray.
A familiar crouching crab-like stance of maybe the game's best hitter. It's Juan Soto. And he sends one out to left field for Peralta. He'll take that every time. E.D. Marshall Jewelers gives us a look around the diamond at the D-back defense.
David Peralta in the right spot to catch that drive off the bat of Soto. Dalton Varsho out in center field. Jake McCarthy over in right. Sergio Alcantara will be the third baseman. Geraldo Perdomo, Ketel Marte make up the double play combo. Seth Beer getting a start at first base. Was Jose Herrera behind the plate for lefty Madison Bumgarner.
Good start for Mad Bum. 2 outs on just 3 pitches. The veteran Nelly Cruz, the DH. At 41 years old, his first season in Washington, his 18th in the big leagues. Signed as a free agent last month.
Little bit of rain starting to fall here at Nationals Park.
That's all we need.
Perfect.
Well, fortunately, you and I are above the clouds, so that shouldn't affect us.
It's raining below. I got a report from one of my staff down at field level.
0-2 on Nelly Cruz.
Might be snow. I thought it was rain.
It's cold enough. Yeah, there you can see some precipitation. Sergio Alcantara all bundled up down there at third. He's got some flakes on his cap.
There's a shampoo that'll take care of that.
That's right. Let's see. The forecast for Sunday here is sunny and 81 degrees. It's all timing, BB.
Let's play 4 on Sunday.
Yep, we might have to. 92 upstairs. Got to be careful with this hitter. Since the start of the 2014 season, no major league player has hit more home runs than Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, the early report on Cruz this season is having trouble catching up to high velocity heat, especially up in the zone. Wow.
That was up a cutter that sailed on him, and it's 2-2. Yeah, a bit of a slow start in the rain and cold in Washington. 190 batting average with 1 home run, but that 1 homer against the Mets here at Nats Park April 10th was number 450 in Cruz's impressive career. Bell on deck. Mad Bum's got Jose Herrera back there today. Yes, he went, says Stu Sherwater. And a 9-pitch first for Madison Bumgarner. No score in Washington. DH today in game 1, Cooper Hummel, and he leads off the second against Josiah Gray. Cooper 2 hits and 16 at bats to start the year, including his home run at Chase Field against San Diego, his first major league hit.
It was a big one up on the home run porch at Chase Field.
But here's the thing with Cooper, despite only 2 hits all year, he's had very consistent plate appearances up there. He's walked 7 times. And so a guy with 2 hits has a .391 on base percentage. It's a ball and a strike. That's belted down the line and hooking out a play. Of course, Cooper being a rookie now, he's playing his first major league games. He's given some task by the veteran, some assignment, something he's got to lug around and carry. In Cooper's case, it's the big speaker that plays in the clubhouse.
Oh.
And it's roughly the size of an old school steamer trunk. And then Cooper's had to lug that thing around the bus and the planes ever since he got here. And he was kind of fussing with that on the bus in this morning as Gray has struck out 3 the first 5.
I'm assuming that's a curveball since it's a left-handed hitter. As I mentioned, he throws more sliders to righties, more curveballs to lefties, but I've been told by people close to the Nationals it's not always easy to tell the difference in those two. The velocity is nearly the same.
Jake McCarthy, the starter in right field for game 1. And once again, Franco will go all the way over from third base to right field as they put the overshift on against the left-hand batter. Wind is blowing pretty good out there. It looks like from the left field foul pole, maybe out toward right center. Jake 1 for 12 to start. Here's a look at Franco, the third baseman, well out there in short right. It's a veteran infield. Franco, Hernandez, Escobar. Nationals are a team in transition following their World Series championship from several years ago.
Well, it's hard not to see that exaggerated pull shift when you're standing at the plate. And that time Jake McCarthy looked to bunt that ball to the third base side. He could walk to first base if he gets down a good bunt.
Yeah, there's a freebie out there waiting for him. Up there in a 2-0 count. Goes bunt. Can he get it by the mound? Not quite. Short hopped, and Gray is there to field it. 2 outs in the second. If you're on Twitter today, we'll have this question going all day and night through both games of this doubleheader. What's one Major League Baseball rule change you would make? Let us know your answers. We'll have them for you both in game 1 and game 2. Valley Sports AZ on Twitter. Sergio Alcantara, the start at third base in game 1. Alcantara 2 for 14 in 8 games so far. Curveball is in the dirt for ball 1. Alcantara had 3 RBIs in that Mets series, including his home run at Citi Field on Saturday. Gave the D-backs the lead in that game. There's that 93-mile-an-hour fastball. And Alcantara lets it go by on 2-0. Both national starters today, Josiah Gray and Johan Adon, who works in game 2, can get a little wild from time to time. They're both young power pitchers, but the command is a little bit inconsistent. Dotted the corner right there, and it's full 3-2. Josiah Gray, 24 years old, 6'1", big power right-hander. Keibert Ruiz, another former Dodger. They came over in the same trade. He's back there. And here's the 3-2. This is a fly ball lifted out to short right center. Soto coming in. And he runs it down. We're in Washington, D.C. No score. Diamondbacks and the Networks app. Well, an impressive 1-2-3 first inning for Madison Bumgarner. 3 outs on 9 pitches. Now Josh Bell. The dangerous switch hitting first baseman leads off the Washington second. Alcantara knocks it down, backs up, recovers, and makes a nice play to get Bell. Hard hit to third. Yeah.
They call it the hot corner for a reason. That ball got down there in a hurry. He's playing with his heels on the outfield grass and still had to very defensively just knock that ball down, throw across for the out. Backpedaling as that ball got up into his midsection, but it was hit so hard he had plenty of time to recover.
23-year-old catcher Keibert Ruiz, 229 over his first 8 games. Was a top Dodgers catching prospect and included along with Josiah Gray in that deal that sent Max Scherzer and Trey Turner to LA at the trade deadline last year. And Ruiz was a key piece in that deal. This is a guy they're going to build their infield around. One more time, Alcantara comes in on this one. Third ground ball out for Mad Bum. It's a mix of youngsters and veterans on this Nationals club. You've got Nelson Cruz, a 41-year-old DH. You've got some youngsters like Ruiz, Soto. And then you've got some other veterans right here. Kel Franco, 275 and a home run. Now in his 9th major league season, longtime Philadelphia Phillies third baseman. He's kind of bounced around, had brief stops both in Kansas City and Baltimore. Signed with Washington on a minor league deal in December.
Came up as a 20-year-old, so he's only 29 now after 9 years of major league experience.
Franco, 6 seasons with the Phillies, played all 60 games in the COVID season with Kansas City. Struggled last year with Baltimore. Orioles let him go at the end of August. He signed on with Atlanta, but did not appear in a game for the Braves. He spent the final month of that year with their AAA club. Franco, as we've seen over the years, will chase outside the zone.
There was a twist from Madison Bumgarner, a changeup. We saw a lot of those in spring training, something he was really working hard on, trying to find a good feel for that off-speed pitch.
You've only seen a very small handful so far this year. Ran that cutter in there. Franco works the 2-out walk ahead of Lane Thomas. Yeah, Mad Bum has thrown close to 50% cutters. Behind that, the 4-seamer just over 30% of the time, so it's mostly all fastball. He's careful with the curve. And a once in a blue moon changeup.
I'll tell you, I like that pitch, however, especially early in the ball game, because you know that Dave Martinez and his staff are over there in that first base dugout going, what was that? I think it was a changeup. Mad Bum threw a changeup.
These are different times.
Well, get guys talking on the bench. You go to the plate looking for a mad bum changeup. You've got them right where you want them.
You only have to throw it a couple of times, right, to establish the fact that you might throw it again.
Yep.
Thomas, a 182 hitter over his first 10 games. Smashed the bat into splinters. Alcantara busy down there, and they retire the 2-out walk. We played 2, no score. Diamondbacks at Nats Park.
Clouds above the other planets in the solar system.
It is a little interesting. Jose Herrera, the catcher, leads off the D-back third against Josiah Gray.
You'd think it'd be a little warmer this close to the sun, but it's chilly.
Herrera's done a nice job defensively, 0 for 9 at the plate so far to start his big league career.
Third start of the year for Josiah Gray. He's gone over 80 pitches in each of his first 2 starts, so I would assume he's not on any kind of restriction here today as far as pitch count goes.
Popped up near second, and there is Cesar Hernandez for the first out.
I can feel a D-backs home run coming today. When the D-backs hit big, you win big. Get a free jumbo jack with a large drink purchase the day after a D-backs hit a home run.
Shortstop bats ninth, Geraldo Perdomo, who has now gone his last 6 games without a base hit. He is 1 for 18 to start the year. But still smiling. You see that 1 for 18. You see the batting average and you think, uh-oh, he's in over his skis. But if you look around, a lot of guys in his position like Bobby Witt Jr. In Kansas City, Julio Rodriguez with Seattle, a lot of guys in his same boat kind of getting off to similar starts. So you can't overreact when you see that batting average. .93 at the belt for a strike. It's 1-1. Are the pitches right there that the Diamondbacks hitters have been missing. Regardless of the count, fastball right there, just can't quite square it up yet. Wind in the ballpark is really swirling right now. There's another one.
It's a little easier to explain away in a 2-strike count because you're a little more defensive as a hitter, protecting against anything you might see from that mound. But another very hittable fastball right there.
There's that eye from Perdomo. He's always had an advanced batting eye and has done pretty well in that regard. He only has 1 hit all year, but he's drawn 7 walks in 8 games. So even with the 1 hit, he's got a .370 on base. And that's the idea. Get on base ahead of Varsho and Marte, Peralta once the lineup turns over. Nestor Ceja rang him up on a pitch that appeared to be well outside. And that's the 4th strikeout for Gray.
I do remember that from Nestor Ceja. In a couple of the ball games he worked the plate for the Diamondbacks last year. He really gets into it, likes to call strikes, so you better be ready to swing it.
Well, I had to search pretty hard to find that one. 2 down for Varsho, who flied out his first time. Dalton in center field, batting leadoff today. He belts this one to center. Robles is out there backing up, still backing up. It's carrying to the wall, and it's gone. Dalton Varsho, his second, and the Diamondbacks strike first. It got up in that wind, and the wind did the rest.
Yeah, and it seems like the wind tunnel in this ballpark under neutral conditions when there is no wind, that's the area where the ball carries extremely well. Just to the right of the batter's eye out there in center field. Varsho picks on a 94-mile-an-hour heater up at the top of the strike zone. That ball was in the air for a long time. Robles, a good defensive outfielder, was putting something in his pocket as he pursued that ball, but didn't matter.
That's a Jumbo Jack. Free Jumbo Jack tomorrow at Jack in the Box with a purchase of a large drink. As Ketel Marte steps in. Dalton had that home run Friday in New York against the Mets, his first this year. Now he's homered twice on the trip. And he sits safely in 6 consecutive games. Just the second home run given up this year by Josiah Gray. Marte misses a fastball right down Broadway at 94. Asked Torey Lovello about that this morning. It's a challenge, he said, when you don't know somebody like Josiah Gray. But after the first time through the order, they'll see what the pattern is. Dalton's got the ski cap on.
Good day for it.
Yeah.
He shushed around the bases right there.
I see what you did there. Slalom. Marte hits a fly ball to right field for Soto. Dalton Varsho's second home run on this road trip has given the Diamondbacks the early lead.
Changeup, sinker. Now he's going to rely heavily on those first two. He'll mix in the occasional curveball, and we have seen him throw one changeup in the game today, so something to keep an eye on. That sinker, that's by accident. It's when the wind catches that cutter.
Longtime Kansas City Royals shortstop, now in Washington, Alcides Escobar. Torey was telling us this morning that the coaches talked to Madison Bumgarner on Sunday, anticipating they might get a rain out about the doubleheader. They looked ahead to a wet forecast and thought, okay, looks like we're going to have to bang Monday's game, so we'll play 2 Tuesday. Mad Bum, which game do you want to pitch? And he said, typical, it didn't matter. He was perfectly fine getting the ball for game 1, but they left it up to him, and Torey said that Mad Bum chose to start game 1 today.
And there's a couple of different philosophies on that. Given the fact that he's a veteran, you defer to him. Let him pick the game he wants to pitch. Sometimes a youngster like Tyler Gilbert or a younger pitcher, if you make them sit around all day waiting to pitch that second game of the doubleheader, that doesn't always work well. So some guys like to save the veteran for game 2.
Tried the curveball, got the cutter right there. Now it's 2-2. Everybody down there bundled up. Wouldn't be so bad if it weren't for this wind.
Yeah, the wind is really making a difference.
It's a pretty good sized ballpark, and it's kind of bowl shaped, so the wind gets in there. It comes in from behind left field and swirls around the circle in there. You can see a light crowd after the rain out last night. This one the makeup of the game from last night, so usually get a thinner crowd than you anticipated.
Yeah, there's a few doubleheaders in baseball today. The Giants and the Mets got rained out yesterday as well.
Guardians, I think, too.
Yep.
Let's work that curveball away. Can't quite find the edge of the zone. Missed out there a couple of times here, and now it's full 3-2. Victor Robles, who has struggled offensively, bats 9th. He's on deck. 3-2 to Escobar. Back to the cutter. Mad Bum's 4-seam fastball through his first 2 starts, averaging 91.4. That is up from last year. And the velo on the cutter is improved even better than that. So he said he anticipated that he would let up some radar guns a little bit more than in the past. That was something he worked on this winter, and so far that's held to form. He said he did a little bit of stuff with those intentions in the offseason. Would like to see that velo improve for an extended amount of time. You don't want just the occasional spike. You'd like to be consistent with that added velocity. But it's never been about the velo for him anyway. Long at bat to open up the third against the veteran shortstop. Escobar to begin the year has struck out, or did strike out, 11 times in his first 23 at bats. It was just a 2 for 23 start for him, but he's picked up the pace as of late, so it's starting to turn around for him.
10th pitch of the at bat coming.
What, he threw 16 total in the first 2 innings, including a walk. Well, that's 3 times in that at bat. He tried to land that curveball away for a strike and left it out there, and you can see he's upset with himself. A leadoff walk.
Could be the cold, could be the wind not allowing that pitch to take the break that Madison Bumgarner is looking for. See him blowing on his hand out there on the mound, trying to stay warm and be able to get a good grip, especially when he throws those breaking pitches.
Cleans it up, and they move Escobar along to second.
Pretty nicely done right there. Anytime anybody bunts, it's a shock. But I believe Robles has done that quite often already this year. I think that's his 3rd sacrifice bunt already this season, mostly hitting out of the 9 spot.
And so they get the runner into scoring position as the lineup turns over. Cesar Hernandez, the second baseman. That cutter had some juice on it right there. Hernandez had something of a slow start himself, but he put together a 6-game hitting streak last week. That got snapped on Sunday in the Nationals' loss at Pittsburgh. He went 0 for 5. Hernandez, 7 seasons in Philly. Went to Cleveland 2 years ago. Was a Gold Glover at second base. Split last year between the Guardians and the White Sox.
He's got sneaky power too. He's one of those guys you wouldn't expect him to be able to hit for much power, but if you make a mistake, he can hit it out. 21 homers in 149 games between Cleveland and the White Sox.
Signed with Washington in November, a 1-year deal, $4 million. Escobar at second with a 1 out in the third. Just somehow got a piece of that curveball.
We talked about it at Citi Field in New York, the cold, wet temperatures there, and how important it is to try to stay loose and stay warm, even if it means going up to the batting cage between innings.
Chase that cutter out there. Mad Bum gets his second strikeout.
Run out to your position, run back from your position, try to stay as warm as you possibly can, as you hear the few people that are here today cheering for Juan Soto as he makes his way to the plate with a runner in scoring position.
That is generally the response. We showed you the home run Saturday in Pittsburgh that went through PNC Park and into the Allegheny River. That home run Saturday, the 101st of Soto's career. He's only 23. Nick Lentz down there at third. It's 0-1. Soto has walked a dozen times against only 7 strikeouts, a .460 on base percentage, and a .553 slug. He does not chase bad pitches. And if you throw him a strike, he usually crushes the ball. Oh, and 2. He is a unique combination of power and plate discipline, Juan Soto.
Boy, when he gets to 2 strikes, he uses that entire left-handed batter's box. His back foot is on the back line. His front foot is almost on the front line.
Still looking for his first hit this year with runner in scoring position. Escobar takes off. Herrera's throw, and they don't get him. Alcantara snuck in there, tried to put the tag on. Nick Lentz says safe at third.
That's one of the tougher calls for a third base umpire because, number one, you're behind the play. Number two, it's tough to tell when the foot was on the bag and if Alcantara applied the tag. Looked like it got him on that left hip, but was his foot on the base when the tag was applied?
Well, we might have an umpire announcement here. Of course, the umpires this year are wired for sound to let us know what's going on down there. Let's hear. Lance Barksdale, second base umpire. We think that they got the tag before he touched the base, right? Oh boy.
Right there.
Well,
I mean, it's not by much. And once again, you can see where the umpire is trying to get an angle to get as good a look at that play as possible, but it's nearly impossible with all the moving parts there to see everything you need to see.
got dirt flying around. Maybe he got a spike on the bag, maybe not. Gary DeSarcini coaching down there at third for Davey Martinez. So they'll have a look in New York.
Hey, talking about that Juan Soto home run in Pittsburgh, I had a similar experience when I was in college.
You hit one like that?
No, I never hit one like that. We went to a game at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. The runner is out.
They got the call. You were right.
Arizona retains their
So it's
challenge.
a caught stealing at third base. Herrera throws out Escobar to win the third, and after 3, it's 1-0 Diamondbacks. Trying to steal third with Juan Soto at the plate. That should be like a double fine.
Yeah.
That's a big time no-no, considering the hitter. And so it's a 1-0 lead for the Diamondbacks as David Peralta leads off the 4th against Josiah Gray. David shows bunt, pulls back, and yes, he offered, says Nick Lentz, 0-1.
You know, in Escobar's defense, took a great play to get him, and it was a great play. Herrera made a strong throw. Alcantara in the air as he made the tag down there at third base to get Escobar at third.
Peralta walked his first time up today. Gray so far has walked 1. He's punched out 4 and given up just 1 hit, the Varsho homer. You were saying about your home run you hit through a stadium one
Well,
time.
no, not exactly.
No?
I was in college at Ohio University, and the Pirates were playing in Cincinnati at Riverfront Stadium against the Reds. Well, my roommate had a car, so I convinced him that it would be a really good idea as soon as class was over. Let's jump in the car and drive to the Natty and watch the Pirates and the Reds. So we got over there and got some cheap tickets and sat out in the right field bleachers. And it was my turn to buy beverages for the boys, so I went to the concession stand and was carrying a tray of beverages back to my seat.
Uh-oh. Peralta drives one to right. Soto won't get there. It's over his head. The freight train's on the move. And he'll pull into second with an easy double.
Nice.
Inspired by the train ride from Penn Station.
I think that was it. Not always easy to tell whether a ball's going to get down in the gap or not from our vantage point up here, especially the ground that Juan Soto and Victor Robles cover out there. But that one was bang. Fooled Soto that time. Just shot over his head. Maybe got a little bit of an assist from the wind that time, but good, solid contact from David. So I'm carrying the beverages back from the concession stand, and I had to come up one of those tunnels.
Oh, yeah.
Well, as I'm walking up the tunnel, I see everybody in front of me start to scramble around, and they're yelling, "Here it comes, here it comes." Well, I then, through the tunnel, I could see the ball in the air out in the outfield coming right toward the tunnel. tough decision. Do I drop a tray full of expensive beverages at the ballpark and try to make a catch?
Yeah, you're on a college kid budget here.
Yeah,
It's
so
not-
I just got the heck out of the way, and it was a Willie Stargell home run ball that went whistling by me in the tunnel, went all the way back out to the concession stand where I bought the beverages. But when I saw Soto hit that home run in Pittsburgh, it reminded me of that particular occurrence.
And that's a split-second call, too. You don't have time to think about
no
it.
no time.
Seth Beer, the first baseman today. Christian Walker gets the day off in game 1 to start.
I tell you, when you're in college and you have a tray full of adult beverages, it's got to be somebody's 500th home run ball or something before I'm dropping those.
1,000th. Good day for David. A walk and a double. He's aboard to start the 4th, and a 1-1 count on Seth Beer. To see Seth Beer get it up in that wind.
Ooh.
Still blowing out toward the right field foul pole. It's a hard changeup up in the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Torrey said that given the day off yesterday with the rain out, there's always a couple of innings worth of rust that you're knocking off, and then you've got a new pitcher. So he warned that for a couple of innings to start this one, it might get very lean offensively, but they'll be ready to go, and they have looked ready so far. Now the second time through the lineup against Gray. Fastball sailed on him, and it's 2-2.
Well, much like Mad Bum, we've only seen a couple of changeups from Gray today. He's a guy that's going to come right at you with that fastball breaking ball combination, either the curve or the slider. Can eliminate some of the options if a guy is basically a 2-pitch pitcher.
Was the curveball, and Beer strikes out for the second time.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free seasoned beef crunchy tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
5 strikeouts for Josiah Gray. Peralta still at second with 1 out for Cooper Hummel, who struck out his first time up. Quite a contrast between Josiah Gray's first 2 starts this year. He worked April 8th against the Mets here at Nats Park. Gave up 4 runs, 8 hits, lasted only 4 innings, and needed 80 pitches to complete 4. His previous outing much more impressive last Wednesday. 5 scoreless in Atlanta. Gave up just 1 hit. Starts him off with a curveball, 0-1. Base hits with runners in scoring position have been hard to come by, oftentimes non-existent for this Diamondback ball club so far. One reason for the 3 and 6 start, chance to reverse that trend right here for Cooper.
This might be a pickoff attempt.
Escobar right behind Peralta at second.
The only reason I said that is because the guy behind the plate, Keibert Ruiz, put down the signs 2-2-2-2-2. And usually when you see something odd like that, it's an indication that there's perhaps a pickoff on or some kind of a trick play. But I don't know how you fool a runner at second when you put down 2-2-2-2-2.
It's pretty obvious.
Mixing it up this time.
No pitch count with a runner at second for Gray.
Yeah, that was one of our signs with the Giants. Anytime you see the same number 3 times in a row with the runner at second base, it was going to be a pickoff attempt. I think the statute of limitations has expired on that. I doubt the Giants still use that.
May have affected their game later tonight. 2-1. Peralta takes off for third. Ruiz's throw is in time. They got him. As Franco got the tag, it looked like on the foot. Gabriel Ruiz back there, the young catcher.
Yeah, unfortunately for David, with a left-handed hitter at the plate, it gives Ruiz a clean throwing lane. He steps right into that throw. Another one that's going to be tough to tell.
No challenge this time. Peralta is thrown out, caught stealing. 2-5. So just like that, they had a runner at second base, nobody out. Now it's bases empty, 2 down. And a 3-1 count on Cooper Hummel. Way outside with a fastball, second walk for Gray. And now the batter is Jake McCarthy.
Jake tried to bunt his way on base back in that second inning. Good idea, just bad location. Bunted it too close to the mound, and Gray was able to come in and make the play.
Gray 60 pitches, 34 for strikes, so he's just about 50-50 balls and strikes. Jake, the starter in right field today, 0 for 1 so far. Bright sunshine now over our heads. And the curveball's a strike, 0-1. What we've seen so far of Cooper Hummel, he's got pretty decent speed. He can run a little bit down there. He gets up the line pretty good. Tell you what, when Josiah Gray misses, he misses by a lot. Very erratic so far.
You've heard me say it many times. A pitcher, if you're going to miss the zone, miss in your favor. I guess he's taking it to an extreme.
No chance that Jake was going to connect with that one. There goes Hummel. McCarthy dunks it in front of the left fielder Thomas. Cooper stops at second. Jake has a base hit and a pair of 2-out base runners.
That'll work. Jake McCarthy just flips that ball out into left field while Cooper Hummel was on the move. Pretty good decoy out there at second base. Hummel was not sure where the ball was initially. The shortstop Escobar came into the picture and made it look like there was going to be a play at second. By the time Hummel realizes the ball's in left field, no chance to advance.
Alcides Escobar sneaking in there. So first and second, 2 down. And here is Sergio Alcantara. Flying out to win the second his first time. So 2 down, Hummel at second and McCarthy at first. Good speed on the bases here. There's some pretty good sized gaps in this ballpark in the outfield. Boy, a lot of first pitch curveballs this time through the lineup for Josiah Gray. changeup. He's kind of Mad Bum-esque with that changeup. It's only a handful of times every ball game, but he used it there to get a strike, and now it's 0-2.
He certainly has the element of surprise working with that straight changeup when he throws it, much like Mad Bum.
Cooper Hummel, the runner at second base. Jake McCarthy's at first. Back to the curveball. 6 strikeouts for Gray, who strands 2. We're in D.C. It's 1-0 D-backs. Well, Juan Soto, who was up there when Alcides Escobar was caught stealing third to end the third, leads off the Washington fourth against Madison Bumgarner.
There's that spread stance we were talking about in his first at bat of the ball game, and he spreads out even a little bit more with 2 strikes. Back foot on the back line. The front foot gets up near the front line of the batter's box with that toe pointed back toward the catcher.
Spins him around inside with a fastball, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Last season, Soto, at the age of 22, belted 29 homers. He knocked in 95 runs. He's already homered 3 times this year. For a guy who says he does not try to hit home runs, he wants line drives.
Now that home run in Pittsburgh was a line drive.
He says line drives are tougher to hit than fly balls, so every time he does hit a line drive, it feels great. Boy, Mad Bum really crowding Soto that time throughout the at-bat. And there's a little exchange back and forth between the two as it's a leadoff walk. That's the third for Bumgarner. Everything in that at bat, Bob. In. Ooh, sailed on.
Yeah, Herrera's out there on the outside corner, and that ball sails up and in. Soto with a look out to the mound. He's been known to aggravate a pitcher from time to time with some of his actions, but
yeah, he does seem to enjoy it. Gives him the advantage, he says. Nelly Cruz now struck out to end the first. Boomstick turns on that cutter, but hooks it foul.
Strike 1.
Yeah. If your nickname is Boomstick, be careful.
Yeah.
Because that can happen.
And he's not a drummer.
There you go.
Good man to turn 2 if you can get him on the ground.
Took a cut at a cutter, and it's 0-2. Cruz now 450 career home runs. He is 2 shy of matching Carl Yastrzemski for 39th all time.
Yes.
You know who's 39th on the all-time list?
Yes.
0-2.
A little stumble there from Mad Bum.
Tried to change up that time. At least that's what it looked like to the computers.
Might have just been a stumble change up that time. I think he realized that he lost his footing and perhaps didn't throw that pitch as hard as he wanted to. It could have been a change up at 73.
Tell you what, this is a tough stretch to navigate when you've got Soto, Cruz, and Josh Bell all batting after each other. Well, doubled up on the change. Maybe it was. Last year, the Nationals felt like they had Josh Bell batting behind Soto. You could flip Bell, who's a switch hitter. So now you stick Cruz in the middle of this. And it complicates things for the opposing pitchers. Might not be so quick to bring a lefty in to face Soto if you've got the right-hand batting Nelson Cruz behind him. Especially with the new 3-batter minimum rule. Not that Soto has an issue with lefties anyway, but play the percentages. Full count 3-2. He's walked the first two in the fourth as we get a word from 72 Sold.
Hey, baseball fans, with 72 Sold, you can sell your home now at absolute top of the market and then stay for up to 6 months. Get our price for your home at 72sold.com.
Brent Strom out to the mound. Madison had been seeing relatively smooth sailing through the first three, but a couple of stumbles off the mound, working inside to Soto. Then he lost Cruz, so he's put himself in a bit of a jam here with Josh Bell, the hitter.
I mentioned his first start of the season against the San Diego Padres. He was cruising along first couple of innings, gave up a harmless base hit, and then all of a sudden in the third inning he walked 4 guys. Just couldn't seem to find the zone.
Well, here is Bell, who has hit in 10 of his 11 games this year and has reached base safely in all 11. That's an 11-game on base streak, the longest in the majors this year. Soto is the runner at second base and Cruz at first. Bell off to a hot start. Mad Bum at 50 pitches, 28 for strikes. He's walked the first two, now behind 2-0.
Elevated at 88 out over the plate. Bell swung right through that one. Might have gotten away with one right there.
Bell last season belted 27 home runs. Not quite as dangerous from the right-hand side as he is from the left. That's why last year teams would bring a lefty in to face Soto, knowing you could flip Bell behind him in the lineup to bat from the right-hand side, where he's not quite as dangerous. 2-2. Boy, that cutter came in there to eat.
It sure did. And Bell having a little trouble catching up to high 80s velocity. His swing always looked a little bigger from the right side than the left side. When we saw him in Pittsburgh all those years, lightning quick from the left side of the plate, where most of his power comes from, but a little bit slower from the right side.
On the ground to third. Alcantara for 1, and they turn 2. Nicely done, Sergio Alcantara. As Cruz moves into second base, that's 2 down. Just what Mad Bum needed right there.
Alcantara's been the busiest man on the field so far. Has no trouble with this one. Ground ball hit right to him, goes to the bag, makes that long throw in motion right on the money.
Now you get Keibert Ruiz and you're out of the fourth. Ruiz grounded out to third his first time. That slicing out of play. Ruiz is a very tough out. He does not strike out. Last season, over his last 75 plate appearances, he struck out 1 time. Another one headed over there, and it's 0-2. I always love those expressions. Best part of it.
I like to watch the other kids around him reaching for the baseball. Let me touch it. Let me touch it.
Nelson Cruz at second, 2 outs, an 0-2 count on the young catcher, Keibert Ruiz. Ran the cutter in there, almost got him. It's 2-2. Michael Franco, the third baseman, would be next.
Feel pretty safe up here, partner, as far as foul balls go.
I think you'd need one of those T-shirt cannons to get one up here. I think we need to borrow the one that the Pirate Parrot has. He seems to have a double-barreled one that gets it up there pretty good. There we are. As Johnny most used to say, high above courtside.
High above.
Another one foul. Okay, so we're up here at the top. And way down there, somewhere
down there.
Do we have a lens that wide? Or are the players? It's just great to be back on the road. We'll take any conditions, wherever you want to put us. We're happy. Swing and a miss. He does strike out. Went to the curveball that time. Mad Bum had first and second, no outs. Gets the double play and strikeout to get out of trouble. What time is that in Arizona? 3:30 for the pregame show for game 2. There you go. Thank you very much.
Just stay tuned to Bally's all day.
No help from the truck whatsoever. Did that all by myself.
That's because they're not sure.
It's been that kind of trip. Well, why would you? Jose Herrera leads off the 5th. Still looking for hit number 1 against Josiah Gray, who so far has walked 2 and punched out 6.
Pretty good pitch right there, but you rarely get the call when the catcher doesn't catch it.
Josiah Gray pitched at Lemoyne College. You want to take a guess?
I looked at this earlier.
I know Jeff Gowan knows it. Don't let him give you a hint. Syracuse, New York.
Oh, okay.
It's right there next to the big orange dome and all that stuff. Popped up. Ruiz tosses the mask away. Now it's backing up on him in that wind. You pointed it out. Somehow those always go back toward the infield, right?
Yeah, the spin on the baseball, when it goes straight up the elevator shaft like that, the way the rotation on the baseball is going up, it'll work toward the stands a little bit, and then as it comes back down, the rotation on the baseball will bring it back toward the playing field. Ruiz had to change directions a couple times, but ends up in the right spot.
Herrera 0 for 2. Here's Geraldo Perdomo, a strikeout victim his first time. Got caught looking at a pitch that appeared to be well outside the zone. Starting to gust up here. Mentioned Josiah Gray pitching at Lemoyne College. He was the NCAA Division II Pitcher of the Year at Lemoyne. Started to attract a lot of attention there. The Reds got him with a second-round pick in 2018. And since then he's been a part of 2 big Dodger deals. The first one went from Cincinnati to LA in the trade that sent Kyle Farmer, Matt Kemp, Yasiel Puig to Cincinnati. And then the next year he was named the Dodgers minor league pitcher of the year. He had a tremendous minor league season in LA system in 2019. He went 11-2 with a 2.28 ERA, which is why the Nationals insisted that, okay, you want Scherzer, you want Trey Turner, you got to give us Josiah Gray. And so they did. Now here he is.
Well, that used to be a little bit of an ego stroke for a player when you got traded. Who did you get traded for? Well, that's a pretty good list right there.
Isn't it? They got both members of this battery in that deal, the Nationals, Josiah Gray and the catcher, Ruiz, working together today. 2-2. Perdomo just foul in front of Dave McKay at first. He turned on a fastball there at 92. Josiah Gray from New Rochelle, New York. Perdomo tracked that curveball nicely, stayed right on it, and he's run the count full 3-2.
Yeah, that was a really good take. That didn't miss by much.
75 pitches, 43 for strikes for Gray, with 1 out in the 5th. And then the fastball right by him. 7 strikeouts for the young right-hander. 2 down.
Just a little higher than Perdomo could handle right there. It's not the velocity itself, it's the location, the velocity, the movement. And that four-seamer up there above the belt had a little extra giddy up. I talked about how he's able to spin that fastball, and it doesn't necessarily rise. That's physically impossible, but it just doesn't sink as much as you anticipate.
Seems to create what I always hear people say, late life.
Yep.
Got that little last sort of hop or skip to it just as it gets on you. Varsho homered in the 3rd, his 2nd on this trip, after a home run in New York over the weekend. Diamondbacks 1 run, 3 hits. Nationals have zeros across the board. Dalton with a home run has now hit safely in 6 straight. Good day to get the ball up in the air in this ballpark with a swirling wind. 2-0. Seemed to help Dalton with this one. Came up with 2 outs in the 3rd and hit it dead to center over the head of Robles.
Yeah, didn't need a lot of help. He really squared that one up to straightaway center. And as I mentioned, after that home run, that seems to be the wind tunnel, that area right there and toward the batter's eye in straightaway center.
3-0. Spots the fastball there at 93. Marte would be next. He's 0 for 2. Now that's what we're looking for, right? You get a fastball, belt high on a 3-1 count, take a hack.
Take a hack at it. I'll tell you one thing about the wind at this ballpark. It's changed every year because of the construction going on around the ballpark. High rises going up everywhere. Really changes the way the wind comes into and swirls around this ballpark.
It has changed dramatically in the last 10 years or so. You can't even see the dome anymore now. Well, Dalton couldn't lay off, chased that curveball. 8 strikeouts and 5 for Gray, but he trails it 1-0.
Sergio Alcantara were down here before they get out on the field just to warm the hands, make sure they're good. Dalton Varsho, on the other hand, I saw him before the game. He was trying to get some heat on the bench, but he's from Wisconsin. He's handling it just fine.
Ironically, Jody, he's from chilly Wisconsin. Ooh. I'm not even making that up.
Yeah, it always makes me hungry when he says that.
Makes me cold. Michael Franco leads off the 5th against Mad Bum, who's yet to give up a base hit here. Now Bob and I are up in the wind. Jody is braving the elements down there at the dugout. She's all curled up in the corner down there.
Yeah, there's that space heater she was talking about down there. Guys put their feet in front of that, put their hands. A lot of guys will leave their bats in front of that while they go out to play defense, so their bat's hot and ready to go.
Mad Bum so far has walked 4, struck out 3, but no hits for the Nationals, and Franco is down 0-2. Of course, you had that space heater when we were in New York over the weekend. It almost set your pant leg on fire.
Caught my pants on fire.
Got to be careful.
Yeah, we probably should have changed places in the booth every half inning so keep both sides warm.
Like in volleyball. Rotate. Jumped on that cutter. Can't keep it fair. Franco had a slow series at Pittsburgh. They played 4 games there. He was just 2 for 14. And chases a fastball way outside the zone. 4 strikeouts for Bumgarner.
One it up. That time it's up and away. Still gets a strikeout from Franco. Chased a bad pitch that time.
Tell you what, if Mad Bum can continue on this pace, maybe he can throw another 7-inning no-hitter. Or have another notable achievement.
A notable achievement.
Is how that was characterized. Lane Thomas now, the left fielder. Approaching 70 pitches with 1 away in the 5th inning. Thomas grounded out his first time up.
I just know I wouldn't want to be the manager to go out and take the ball from Mad Bum when he's got a no-hitter going. I'd have to send out the bench coach.
Well, Dave Roberts had to do that with Kershaw last week, and he had a perfecto going, right?
Yep. Yeah, I'll send Brent Strom. Okay, you're such a good pitching coach. Go take the ball from him.
Go work your magic. I'm not going to tell him. You tell him.
You tell him.
Nope. Well, you had to do that with Randy all the time, you and Mel, right?
Well, once in a while. That was no fun. You go out there. No, you go. But that's the attitude you want from your pitchers, all your players for that matter. You know, you don't want to come out of a ball game. You want to compete, especially the starting pitchers. They look forward to it for 4 days. And they want to go out there and compete as long as they feel they can be effective.
70 pitches, 44 strikes. Right at the bottom of the zone with a cutter, and he's punched out 3 in a row.
Lane Thomas hasn't seen much of Mad Bum. He takes a cutter right down the middle that time.
Remember in the 4th inning, back-to-back walks, Soto and Cruz. They had 2 on and no outs. Brent Strom went out there to pay Mad Bum a visit. Since then, double play, strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. And here is Alcides Escobar, who walked his first time. I'm nominating that for Mound Visit of the Year so far.
So far. Given his track record, I get the feeling that there'll be a lot of good mound visits this year.
I would think.
Brent Strom, he doesn't miss anything. If he sees a mechanical adjustment that needs to be made, or senses that a mental adjustment needs to be made, he'll go out there and tell them.
I think Mad Bum today has been a little free and easy with that curveball. We've seen it a little more often than we have the first 2 starts, it seems like. Popped up, it's in the wind. Seth Beer up the line. Marte behind him, calls him off and drops the ball. It is swirling here in Washington. That should have had Madison out of the 5th.
Yeah, that was going to be a really tough play for Seth Beer, going straight back, looking over his shoulder. Ketel Marte calls him off and then just very casually tries to one-hand it off his left shoulder right there, and the ball drops for an E4.
Torey Lovullo emphasized defense all spring long. He was really upset, he said, with the infield defense last year. Sloppy footwork, bad throws, not turning plays they were supposed to turn, and now some extra pitches for Bumgarner. We may try this one more time with Beer, but that one's behind the dugout. Robles dropped down a nice sacrifice bunt his first time up. His bat has vanished for Washington the last several seasons. Robles last year hitches 203. There's another curveball for a strike. And it's 0-2. It's belted into the corner and fair. This might cost the Diamondbacks a run. DiSarcina going to send Escobar all the way around, and the Marte drop leads to a 1-1 ball game. Victor Robles, just his second hit this year.
Just hoping that ball might hook foul. I think the wind helped it stay fair. He was out in front of that pitch. Normally that ball would really hook down the left field line, but stays just fair down into the corner. By the time Peralta retrieves it and gets it back into the infield, Escobar had come all the way around to score from first base after that E4 by Ketel Marte.
Robles, a guy who opened the season 0 for 18. Finally got hit number 1 Sunday in their loss at Pittsburgh. That's hit number 2. And here's the leadoff man, Cesar Hernandez, in what is now a 1-1 ball game. That drop absolutely killed him. And that's the first hit for Washington after 4 2/3 against Mad Bum. Fair ball down the line, and here comes one more run for Washington. They grab a 2-1 lead. Hernandez at second. Ouch.
Ouch is right.
Jeff Bannister on the bullpen phone. Corey Lavello checking in with Nestor Ceja behind the plate. And here's Lance Barksdale from second, the crew chief. He might be arguing, did it hit a spectator or something down there?
Well, the umpire has to get out of the way right here. Looks like he's looking in the right direction as he's getting out of the way right there.
That's Nick Lentz at third. Let's see what it caroms off of. Does it hit anything over there? Usually goes out in these situations asking more questions than arguing. It's a process for him to try and get in the umpire's head and figure out what they're looking at, what they're thinking, and see if he can pick something up.
Like Mad Bum was perhaps asking Nick Lentz, the third base umpire, you know, because you were jumping out of the way there, maybe didn't get as good a look as you possibly could. Would you ask the home plate umpire? And Nick Lentz just in foul territory. Well, the ball definitely hit in foul territory past the bag, but it only has to go over the base in fair territory to be considered a fair ball.
Well, Madison should have been out of this inning. Instead, he now trails at 2-1. And he's up over 80 pitches as Soto steps in. Soto has flied out and walked so far. Madison last time almost hit Soto a couple of times. Working him inside. Another curveball for a strike. 1-1. J.B. Wendelken will have to get loose. Alcantara has to navigate Hernandez running from second and third, and that gets them out of the inning. But the Marte drop leads to 2 Washington runs, and the Diamondbacks really argue for it. But as you pointed out, it was fair over the bag, and once it hits the outfield, that's that. So now here is Ketel Marte 0 for 2, and has dropped third out there in the bottom of the 5th. Opened the door for 2 Washington runs after the Varsho homer in the 3rd. Bullpen is busy for Washington with Josiah Gray now well over 80 pitches in the ball game. Cattell so far has struck out, flied out. Gray so far, he has walked 2, struck out 8, and has given up only 3 hits. This is slicing up in that wind. Lane Thomas in left field, drifting near the line, and he's got it for the first out. It's 5 in a row set down by Gray. Baby Martinez is going to call it a day for his young right-hander right here with the bullpen set to go. Veteran Sean Doolittle back with the Nationals. On his way in, we've got the lefty coming up. 2, in fact, in Peralta and Beer. Back from D.C. So here is Sean Doolittle back with the Nationals. He signed as a free agent just last month. Split the season last year between the Reds and the Mariners.
Fastball curveball combo from Doolittle. He does have a split finger that he rarely uses.
He's been off to a terrific start. Doolittle, back in a Nats uniform, has retired all 14 batters he's faced this year. And he'll work to a couple of lefties here in Peralta and Seth Beard. Diamondbacks had a 1-0 lead in the third. Dalton Varsho was solo homer, his second home run on this road trip. And then things unraveled in the fifth. Madison Bumgarner struck out the first 2 batters in that inning. Cattell Marte dropped the pop-up that should have been the out number 3. And then back-to-back doubles, Robles and Hernandez, resulted in 2 Nationals runs. So here's Peralta, 1 out in the 6th, trailing 2-1.
Well, you knew you were going to see Sean Doolittle somewhere today. He's the only lefty that Dave Martinez has available out of the bullpen, and this lineup for the Diamondbacks today, including switch hitters, all lefties.
Well, it's been a good day for David so far. He walked and doubled. Was thrown out trying to steal third base in the 4th. Doolittle works from the far first base side of the rubber, and watch the set, almost turns his back to the hitter. So that's tough to pick up for the lefty. As evidence right there, there's the curveball, and it's 0-2.
The way Doolittle puts that glove underneath his beard, kind of props it up as he's getting his sign from his catcher.
The glove or the beard?
Well, there you go, right there.
David hits a line drive out to right field. Soto is there in front of the warning track. And that's the second out in the 6th inning. The brand new D-backs Access Pass is the most convenient and flexible way for fans to enjoy Diamondbacks baseball in the best seats. Every D-backs Access Pass includes 20 credits. You can provide the flexibility, choose the games you want, when you want to go. Learn more at dbacks.com/access. 2 down for Seth Beer, who has punched out twice against Josiah Gray. Now in there against the lefty Sean Doolittle. Seth Beer gets hold of one and hits it deep to center. That one gets to the base of the wall. Seth Beer left on left has a 2-out double.
That ball was smoked into the gap in right center field.
Could hear that good sound from way up here.
Yeah. Doolittle tries to jump ahead with a first pitch fastball down and out over the plate at 91, and Beer barrels it up to the gap. Robles got a little bit of a late start. I don't think he catches up to that one anyway.
Well, it's nice to see Seth can cover that part of the plate and still get the barrel on the ball like that. Down and away against the left-hander. So a chance now for the switch hitting Cooper Hummel, who has struck out and walked. Cooper's walk, his last time up in the 4th inning, is 8th base on balls this year. He's got an on-base percentage up near 400. That was the split that found mostly dirt. It's 2-0. Mike Hazen has pointed out that Cooper Hummel is a guy they had liked for a while. Got him from the Brewers in the Eduardo Escobar deal last year. Great idea of the strike zone, gets on base. He's got some defensive versatility. So he's a piece of the puzzle, they believe, and he has been so far. I suppose if you were Doolittle, you could put some sticky stuff in the beard.
In the beard, yeah.
You'd never look for it in there. Of course, now they don't do the strip search of the pitcher. There's the curveball up for a strike. Cooper wants to talk to Nestor Sehal about that. Now, if you think, when you do the check for sticky stuff, they just look at the pitcher's hands, thinking, well, if he's using anything, it's going to be on his hands. Well, there goes the pitch com now.
I don't know that the Nationals are using the pitch com. We had a couple of runners at second base, and they continued to use the finger signs.
Seems to be checking the receiver in his cap, but we're still getting the signs from Ruiz. 2 balls and a strike. Flare out to left. Thomas near the line. And Doolittle strands the 2-out double. We're in Washington. Diamondbacks trailing 2-1. For the 6th at Nats Park. That's it from Madison Bumgarner. Here's J.B. Wendelken. 3 appearances on the year. He last worked Friday in New York against the Mets.
Kind of an odd outing for Mad Bum today. 5 innings. Gave up only 2 base hits, but he did walk 4 batters. The downfall, however, was the drop pop up on the right side of the infield that would have gotten him out of that 5th inning. Nats came up with back-to-back doubles to take the 2-1 lead.
Mad Bum walked 4, struck out 5. Gave up only 2 hits, those consecutive doubles. Nelson Cruz, who has struck out and walked, leads us off in the home half of the 6th inning. D-backs have out hit Washington 4-2, but they trail it 2-1. Over the head of Perdomo and into left. It's a single for Cruz.
It's a strong man right there. Sounded like he hit that ball near the end of the bat somewhere. Still turned into a line drive to left field.
Going got another strong guy up there and batting from his power side, the left side for Josh Bell, who is 0 for 2. But off to a hot start this year. Better than .330. He's already homered twice. "11 games for Washington. Josh Bell's hit safely in 10 of them and has reached base safely every time. Center field, that drops in front of Varsho. Back-to-back singles open up the National 6th. Wendelken in it right away. Keibert Ruiz, the catcher, has grounded out, struck out. Switch hitter down bats from the left-hand side. Nelson Cruz at second, Josh Bell at first. Each team now with 4 hits.
Mentioned when Victor Robles put down that sac bunt back in the 3rd inning. That's something the Nationals don't do a lot of. They only have 4 on the season, and Victor Robles has 3 of them.
Here you see Alcantara even with a bag at third, just behind the grass. It's gusting up here. Hang on.
It is.
Get blown out of the booth. Well, J.B. Wendelken in trouble. Back-to-back singles now behind on Ruiz 2-0. Right back to the mound. They got Bell hung up. Boy, it's worked out a couple of times on this road trip. First Kyle Nelson, now J.B. Wendelken.
Yeah, this one a little softer than the comebacker Nelson had to deal with, but Wendelken every bit as alert. Snags that ball, throws on to first base. The runner at second, Nelson Cruz, actually got a pretty good read on that ball, was headed back to the bag, so Wendelken went to the right base.
Cruz at second, 2 down now. Maikel Franco has walked and struck out. Nationals have tried to emphasize patience with Franco, which is what the Phillies finally had to give up on. He has always been a wild free swinger at times. Dave Martinez pointed out that his chase rates have been astronomical over the last couple of years. That's one big thing they want him to understand. You got to get the ball in the zone, because when he does that, he can still hit the ball pretty hard.
Now the D-backs are using PitchCom with the runner at second base, and we're still having issues.
I think the unit is frozen.
It might be.
Broken bat bouncer gets through. They're going to wave Cruz. Varsho comes up throwing. It's cut off. It got through Beer, actually, and let it go at the last minute. And it's another 2-out run for Washington.
Sounded like a possible broken bat, but you can see it got through the infield in a hurry. Dalton Varsho's throw to the plate appeared to be a little bit offline, but Seth Beer, a lack of playing time at first base, just lets it go through. Fortunately, the runner held up at first base.
Lane Thomas. Thomas, the left fielder, 0 for 2. He worked his way into their outfield mix last year, acquired from the Cardinals in the midseason deal for John Lester, and did a pretty nice job. Very good defensive outfielder. He's got good speed, runs well, and has occasional power, Lane Thomas. In fact, when Victor Robles slumped toward the tail end of last year, Thomas was pretty much their everyday center fielder. Right by him at 93. Steve Cishek with that unusual delivery. Loosening up in the Nationals bullpen, right-hander. 3-1 on Thomas. Well, that Ketel Marte error looming bigger and bigger the more the Nationals increase their advantage here. Diamondbacks lead the National League in unearned runs allowed. Marte's error was the Diamondbacks' 10th this year. That's the most in the majors. The defense has not been what it needs to be. Oh, strike call there from Nestor Ceja. Nationals get one more after 6. Diamondbacks trail at 3. Right-hander Steve Cishek. 5 appearances this year for the Nationals. He spent last year with the Angels and made 74 appearances out of their bullpen.
Very odd delivery from Steve Cishek, rather. Low 3/4, sidearm, sometimes submarine. Has that big sweeping breaking ball that he'll start right at a right-handed hitter's hip and sweep it all the way across the plate. Watch out.
Jake McCarthy has that one swept across. That's the fastball at 88. Jake singled his last time up, 1 for 2. Jake back in the greater DC area, played his college ball nearby in Charlottesville at UVA, where he's a first-round pick. McCarthy, Alcantara, Herrera 6, 7, and 8 in the D-backs 7th inning. Late on the fastball. That got on him a lot quicker than he thought, and it's 2-2. Down the line, in the air, but hooking out of play.
Cishek with the funky delivery from the right side. Back in the day, he would be considered a right-handed specialist because of this drop-down sidearm delivery. Gets that big sweeping breaking ball, fastball tailing away from a lefty into a righty. Almost made a mistake there on Jake McCarthy.
Got the corner with a breaking ball. McCarthy's rung up.
That's that sweeping breaking ball. Starts off the plate away. Maybe gets back to the outside corner. Mr. Ceja's had a big zone all day.
He'll go off the menu every now and again. Alcantara 0 for 2. Case in point. Slider caught the knees. It's 0-2.
That's about top end for Cishek right there. 89 miles an hour with some tailing action away from the lefty.
Way out there with that slider. 2-2 now. In the air right field for Juan Soto. Fighting the sun. He lost it in the sun. Robles has to come over and bail him out. Soto was camped underneath that one and lost it.
Yeah, that sun that was affecting the left side of the field earlier in the game now is affecting the center fielder and right fielder. Soto, he got no idea where that ball is.
He looked a lot like Starling Marte the other day in New York.
Yeah. But Robles had a better angle on the sun, comes over from center field and makes it look like a fairly easy play.
Nothing's easy today with the wind and
a
lot of cloud cover one side of the ballpark, bright sunshine on the other. There's that Cishek slider, he said carefully, and it's 0-1. Herrera 0 for 2, 0 for 11 on the year. If Cishek throws sliders near the seashore.
Ooh, be careful.
Yeah.
Thought he got his first knock of the year right there.
Hooked it into that wind. The wind took care of the rest, blew it foul. Still blowing out pretty good toward that right field foul pole. And while we have a moment, let's get a word from 72 Sold.
Hey, baseball fans, with 72 Sold, you can sell your home now at absolute top of the market and then stay for up to 6 months. Get our price for your home at 72sold.com.
There are no words, so we'll go to break, trailing 3-1. Earlier today, he's had his relievers now going a lot more 1+ than just one and done.
Well, especially on a day like this when you know you've got another 9-inning game to follow later this evening. You need a little bit of length out of somebody in that bullpen.
Tyler Gilbert will start game 2. D-backs live pregame show at 3:30 this afternoon back home in Arizona. Oliver Perez gets loose in the Diamondback bullpen. Alcides Escobar has walked. He reached on that drop pop-up by Marte and scored a run. And you don't want to make too big a deal out of the Ketel Marte pop-up, but if there's a play in this game to circle, that's it.
Yep.
There's just no getting around it. Beer foul ground near the Nationals dugout, and that's in the seats. Washington bullpen gets busy as well. Kyle Finnegan, and I do mean warming up down there. It's 1-2 on Escobar.
Yeah, this is one day the relievers are glad when the phone rings.
They'll raise their hand. I'll go. Just last second chops away at that slider. Here is Oliver Perez, fresh off career appearance number 700. Herrera can't quite hang on. Over Wendelken, Marte from second.
Like that, you may have noticed when Jose Herrera gave the sign for fastball away, he pumped his fist after he gave the sign. Come on, give me your best heater right out here and we'll get it out. And sure enough, a little topper bounced back over the middle of the field for an easy 4-3 putout.
Here's Victor Robles, who followed the Marte drop with an RBI double in the 5th. Just his second hit this year.
Extension on that inside corner today.
There is Finnegan, the right-hander.
Heads up, Jody. That was right down there where Jody's sitting.
From our Skyview cam here, it looks like she might have a space heater down there. I think she's cheating. Huddled up in the Diamondback dugout. Camera well right next to the dugout.
Now you see that time Herrera pointed at the ground. He wants this pitch down in the dirt. Oh, a hanger.
That stays fair for him, and a nice play by Jose from behind the plate. And they retire Robles.
Herrera directing traffic back there today. He's done a nice job behind the plate for Mad Bum, and now J.B. Wendelken gets a dual jam shot topper up that first baseline. You always want a position player to handle the ball rather than the pitcher. Now some pitchers, you know, Zach Greinke jumps to mind immediately. You don't mind them handling the ball on the infield, but for most guys you would rather have a position player make the play.
Cesar Hernandez. I know that was always Matt Garza's specialty. Wait, what? Not quite.
Just a minute.
We'll be right with you. Cesar Hernandez had an RBI double in that 2-run Washington 5th.
Good changeup right there.
0-2. Torrey trying to get 6 outs out of J.B. Wendelken here. He's got the lefty Soto ready in the pen if, or pardon me, Perez if Soto gets up there. He's on deck. Two on Cesar Hernandez. J.B. Wendelken trying to get us clear of the 7th inning. Up into the wind. Varsho and McCarthy. Dalton drifting over to right center. And it's a nice 1-2-3-7 for J.B. Will hit the 8th down voided arbitration with Josh Bell. There has been some talk about an extension for him. They brought in Cesar Hernandez, the veteran second baseman, on a 1-year deal. Now they have some long contracts and some long money still due, both Steven Strasburg and Patrick Corbin. But the bulk of the Washington Nationals business has been 1-year deals. Now,
you're going to need more than 2 players after this year, though.
if you're going to sign Soto, it is likely going to cost you $500 million.
Whoa.
He is the best hitter in the game at 23 years old. He's already got a Hall of Fame level resume. And if you're looking at what Mike Trout got from the Angels, $500 million is not out of the discussion, which is hard to wrap your mind around.
It really is.
But that's what they're looking at here if they want to get Juan Soto signed up long term.
I have one question.
Yes.
Does he have an agent? I'd like to volunteer.
I'll take 0.1%. Kyle Finnegan, the right-hander, is the new pitcher for Washington. Pavin Smith is the pinch hitter now for Geraldo Perdomo. So they will bat for the shortstop here in the 8th. Pavin off to a 4 for 25 start this year.
And Finnegan's scouting report says he's a sinker slider split finger pitcher, but he's humping that sinker up there at 95 miles an hour, and it's not taking much sink. It's pretty straight.
Finnegan last year led Nationals relievers in appearances and strikeouts. Also saved 11 games for Washington. There's a 2-0 strike. Of course, if you're worried about paying Juan Soto, there is another option. You could sell the team.
You could do that.
The Nationals have been owned by Ted Lerner and his son Mark since the club was relocated from Montreal, and it was announced recently that the Lerners have begun what they call an exploratory process about potentially selling the ball club. They have retained the services of an investment bank to look for potential buyers. There is, they say, no set timetable or expectation or a specific outcome, but it's being looked into. And if your right fielder is going to cost you $500 million, now might be the time to sell.
Well, and you notice the Nationals caps with the tricolor, kind of a salute to the Expos, I assume.
Was their original identity.
Yeah.
And that's a good at bat there by Pavin Smith, the leadoff walk, and it gets our tying run to the plate in the 8th inning for Dalton Varsho, who did this with 2 outs in the 3rd. It's our Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing who will play the game.
Oh, made that good sound off the bat, just continued to carry farther and farther out there to straightaway center field. By the time Robles got back to the wall, that ball was bouncing around the bullpen cart.
Well, one more of those and we're tied up. Dalton has now hit safely in 6 consecutive games. The center fielder today. Double play ball right to Hernandez. Escobar for 1, and they turn 2.
Hit ball right at the second baseman with a runner at first. That's usually going to turn into a double play, but Dalton Varsho refuses to concede anything. He made it a close play at first, really busting it down that line. They got him by about a half a step.
Base is clear, 2 down. Ketel Marte, the hitter, he's 0 for 3. Hard sinker up at 95 from Finnegan. On the corner with that sink, and it's 0-2. Split doubleheader today. 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock Eastern time starts for this one. as we play the makeup of last night's rained-out series opener. Game 2, Bally Sports Arizona Extra, 3:30 D-backs Live pregame show. Tyler Gilbert versus Yoanna Doan. Our first look at Tyler Gilbert this year. 3:30 D-backs Live pregame, Bally Sports Arizona Extra. Ian Kennedy has joined Ali Perez in the D-back bullpen. Soto will lead off the 8th. Lefty on the left, the righty on the right. I always like when it works out that way.
Yeah, generally, it's the exact opposite because most bullpen mounds are so close together. If you have a lefty on Ollie's side and a righty on Ian's side, their deliveries are coming right out of the same slot.
It's like driving a car in England, I think. On the wrong side. 1-2. Once again, the Diamondbacks pitching has for the most part been solid, but it's the offense and the defense that have let them down. That's been a recurring theme all year. Marte chases that splitter, double play in the strikeout, erase the leadoff walk. It's 3. Familiar sight for Nationals fans. The left-hander Oliver Perez makes his 5th appearance of the year. Ollie pitched here in Washington in 2016 and 2017, and he worked a lot. He had over that 2-year span 114 appearances in a Nationals uniform. Defensive changes around him after they hit for the shortstop Geraldo Perdomo. Yanni Hernandez comes in at 3rd for Sergio Alcantara. Alcantara takes over for Perdomo at short. Well, Juan Soto will lead it off in the Washington 8th inning. They have kept him under wraps. He is 0 for 2 with a base on balls. Right-hander Tanner Rainey starts to loosen up in the Washington bullpen. Sliders to strike 0-1. That's a tough way to start for any relief pitcher who has to face at least 3 batters. So Ollie will get Juan Soto, Nelson Cruz, and Josh Bell, 2, 3, and 4 in the 8th inning. Go get them.
Yeah, and having Soto lead off the inning with his .460 on base percentage. That'll go up.
Just caught him with that sinker. They've worked him inside for a majority of the time today. Nadbum almost hit him a couple times.
Yeah, you'll notice no arm guard of any kind on that lead arm. The right arm, he took that one just off the back above the elbow.
All day to get hit.
Yeah, I think they probably ought to keep him out of the second.
Just to be,
yeah,
as err on the side of caution.
I'm all for it.
I was trying to get there. I just got tired. Well, a chance for Nelly Cruz, who has walked, singled, and scored today. The DH. Showed you that business of baseball graphic earlier. Washington brought Brought Cruz in on a one-year deal, $15 million. And Mike Rizzo, their GM, was saying that it wasn't about the position so much as the player. They didn't plan to spend $15 million on a DH. Well, Cruz is the exception. They wanted to spend that money on Nelson Cruz, and they did.
Cruz is saying that ball hit him in the foot.
I don't think Nestor Ceja is going to believe him. Looking into the dugout, you can challenge hit by pitch. And here comes David Martinez. And they will challenge.
And Cruz reacted pretty much right away. He wasn't exactly running down to first base, but that big loopy breaking ball comes in there and looked like it caught him on the maybe it caught him on the back foot. I don't know.
It might have hit him after it went off Herrera's glove.
Yeah.
I think it caromed off the mitt and then hit him in the leg.
Washington is challenging no hit by pitch.
No?
Tough to tell. Tough to tell.
Lance Barksdale announces to the crowd that they are challenging the hit by pitch non-call, which is subject to review.
Boy, Davey Martinez was a really good fourth outfielder back in the day. He was one of those guys that just wasn't quite enough of an offensive player to be an everyday guy, but if you needed him 2 or 3 days a week, or if one of your starters got hurt, he could come off the bench and plug that hole with no problem at all. We was calling Cheech. We didn't have a Chong on the team, but he reminded us of Cheech Marin a little bit.
Always a good guy to go in and chat with in clubhouse before the game, get the latest on what's going on with his ball club. Lance Barksdale communicates with New York. All the umpires wired up this year.
I'm sure the pitchers are allowed to throw some warm-up pitches if it's a lengthy review like we're having right here. Ollie just standing out there on the mound. Now he's going to play a little bit of catch with Jose Herrera just to stay loose.
After review, the call on the field stands. Washington loses their challenge.
So the call stands. It's 1-2 on Cruz. He did not get hit by that pitch.
Well, it has to be conclusive evidence that he was hit, and we looked at it a couple times and still can't tell.
Catcher's interference. Nestor Ceja, and boy, Herrera is arguing vehemently with Nestor Ceja, and there's the big smile by Nelson Cruz, who gets the base anyway. Just one pitch later. And here we go again.
Yeah, well, you know if you've been hit as a catcher. There's no doubt about it. Boy, very late swing by Cruz that time. That's what made it even close back there behind the plate.
Catcher's interference is now subject to review. You can challenge catcher's interference. That's new now.
Gene, the catcher's interference call.
And they will indeed challenge that catcher's interference call. You cannot challenge catcher's interference if it's a squeeze play or someone's attempting to steal home, but you can do it now. They added that this year. And boy, based on Herrera's reaction, he was immediate. Here's Jeff Bannister, the bench coach, along with Torey Lovello. So it's back on the phone to New York.
We can't get to the phone right now. If you'd like to leave your name and number, we'll get back to you just as soon as we can.
Their call is very important to us. Watch the mitt. That's where the interference would take place.
Yeah, you know, a black bat, a black catcher's mitt, the umpire's wearing dark blue behind home plate. Really tough to tell if there was any contact at all. didn't see the glove move.
Well, you saw the big smile from Nelson Cruz going up the first base line.
Boy, he may have nipped a lace on the glove, but he sure didn't change the direction of the mitt at all, or you don't see the webbing of the glove fold up like it would if somebody hit it with a baseball bat.
But based on that evidence, it might be tough to get that overturned.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. Just like the hit by pitch before for the Nationals.
Here we go.
After review, the call on the field stands. Catcher's interference is awarded first base.
Catcher's interference, that goes in your book as an E2, the error on the catcher as well. And so the Nationals, with a hit by pitch and catcher's interference, have the first two reach base in the 8th inning. So 2 on, nobody out for the dangerous Josh Bell. Bell singled his last time up. Josh Bell has it safely in 11 of his 12 games this year, including today. And he's got his second hit, punches it into short right. They're going to wave Soto. He's going to score. No throw as Cruz gets into third, and it's 4-1 Washington. Boy, that got into short right and just kind of died out there in front of Jake McCarthy.
It sounded like he cued it right off the end of the bat. The ball got out there with a lot of side spin on it. Just died quickly out there in front of Jake McCarthy. Had thoughts about throwing to third right there, but wisely decides to throw the ball back into second base rather than attempt to get that lead runner.
So Josh Bell 2 for 4, couple of hits and an RBI. Here is the catcher Ruiz. In the air to center, Varsho is camped out underneath. Cruz at third, and here he comes. Throw is cut off. It's 5-1. Out to the mound, and that's it for Oliver Perez. We're in the 8th. It's 5-1 Nationals. Back in a moment.
Pitch that was challenged, had an error on the catcher that was challenged on catcher's interference, and then gave up the base hit to Josh Bell. Sacrifice fly off the bat of Keibert Ruiz, and now Matt Peacock will take over for the Diamondbacks. Pitched the final inning in that 5-0 shutout at Citi Field on Sunday when the Diamondbacks were in New York. He'll face Maikel Franco with a runner at first base and 1 out. First pitch in there for a strike. It was Ian Kennedy warming earlier in the Diamondbacks bullpen, but as the Nationals took a 4-run lead, Kennedy had a seat, and Peacock quickly got up and got loose and is now in the game.
0-1 to Franco. Hits it in the air to center. Varsho coming in. And that's the second out. Bell back to first. Earlier we asked you on Twitter, and we'll have this question going all day, so check it out, Dr. Sports AZ. What's one MLB rule change you would make? We've asked you for some answers, and I believe we have some. You said hopefully. Lane Thomas 0 for 3, the left fielder. Who was the coach that told you on the cold day to make sure you run in the tunnel and stuff?
Bob Lillis.
You were right. I was
Yeah.
just running down the hallway here.
Nice and warm now,
First
aren't
time I've been warm all day. It works. Son of a gun.
Well, they got a little crowded from time to time at Candlestick. As I mentioned Sunday, there was a tunnel that led from the back of the first base dugout all the way up to the clubhouse, but it was very narrow, very dark. Be running down there between innings and crash into teammates that were doing the same thing, just trying to stay warm.
There's the Matt Peacock sinker for a strike. Well, it was Tanner Rainey warming up down there, but now it's Austin Voth, the right-hander. Well, Matt ran that sinker in there, 2-out walk. Alcides Escobar, the shortstop. Josh Bell, the runner at second base. Lane Thomas, good speed at first. There's the strike. Escobar, the 7th man to bat in the Washington 9th. Had a little bit of everything here in this inning. A hit batter, a catcher's interference, a sacrifice fly, a walk. All we need now is strikeout. 0-2. Escobar hits it into center. Bell coming around third. No throw from Varsho. Make it 6-1. Another 2-out RBI for the Nationals today.
Yeah. Looked like Matt left that one up in the zone a little bit for Escobar. Just bangs it right back up the middle of the field. We hear so much talk about slug in the game of baseball nowadays, hitting home runs, driving the ball into the gaps, down into the corners, but singles will work too with men on base.
It's turned into a 3-run Washington 8th, and the center fielder is Victor Robles, who had an RBI double in the 5th. That was right after the Marte pop-up drop, and there's the strike.
The Nats today 4 for 9 with runners in scoring position. They've taken advantage almost every time they've been able to push a man to second base.
They scored 6 runs, 4 coming with 2 outs. Stu Sherwater down there at first. Diamondbacks in the 9th inning will have Peralta, Beer, and Hummel due up 3, 4, and 5. Thomas, good speed at second. Escobar at first. Nationals have out-hit the Diamondbacks 7-4. They lead it 6-1. Hard looking, and that's the end of the inning. Nationals send 8 men to the plate. They score 3 to lead it 6-1. With a nice comfortable 6-1 lead as he starts the 9th inning as the new pitcher for Washington. Austin Voth, who last year had career highs, 49 appearances. He won 4 games. He makes his 5th appearance of the year here today.
A couple of different fastballs from the Nationals right-hander, a 4-seamer and a cutter. He'll also mix in the occasional curveball.
Diamondbacks had a 1-0 lead after the Dalton Varsho homer in the 3rd. Madison Bumgarner was 2 outs into the 5th inning before he gave up his first base hit. Back-to-back doubles following a dropped Ketel Marte pop-up that should have ended the inning. Instead, it opened the floodgates, and Washington got 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, 3 more in the 8th. They lead it 6-1 as Peralta starts us off in the 9th. David has walked and doubled today, 1 for 2. Once again, Michael Franco, the 3rd baseman, out there in short right field for Dave Martinez. David got a cutter, couldn't keep it fair. It's 2-2.
Every now and then we get a gust up here that blows the monitors and the scorebooks and the telephone, everything out of the booth.
Goodness. It's almost like the time at Wrigley Field where the monitor blew out of the booth. That happens here. I tell you what, it's going to go a long way down.
As windy as it is, the monitor might end up in the river.
The van down by the river. Seth Beer on deck. Then it's Cooper Hummel. Well, the Diamondbacks, unless they can come back here in game 1 today, will drop to 3-7 in their first 10. It's been slow out of the gate, mostly the offense. Over the mound, and Escobar can't get to that one. Peralta's got a second hit today, on board for the 3rd time. That's how it starts.
Yeah, good start. Somebody on there, see what happens. Give him a finish.
Well, you always talk about getting the other guy to use his closer. I can't think of a better situation today than when you're playing 2.
Absolutely. Get him in the game.
Seth Beer doubled his last time up. 1 for 3. Good spot for that cut fastball. Well, the offense continues to scuffle. 1 run, 5 hits today. Torrey was saying this morning he's seeing everybody's working hard, trying to make something good happen. He is not at all inclined to complain about the effort. What he doesn't want to see, he said, are individuals adopting a force mentality that they have to be the guy to break this entire team out of what they're going through. If everybody takes it upon himself to do that, suddenly nobody hits. It can't be a rush to try and be the guy. It's got to just be about the process. Missed away with a curveball. Good take by Seth Beer. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
You mentioned the 10th game for the Diamondbacks. It reminds me of the days when I worked in Chicago and Lou Piniella was managing the Cubs. And he used to talk about breaking the season down into 16 10-game sections.
All right, Lou, I'm with you so far.
Well, when Lou says it seems to make sense. You know, you're going to have a stretch of the season where you don't hit, or your pitchers don't pitch, or your bullpen's not good, or you're not playing good defense, and you might go 3-7. You might go 2-8. But that's only one 10-game section of the season. You can turn it right around the next 10 games and go 7-3 or 8-2. So he never put too much pressure on his players if they had a bad 10-game stretch.
Up the middle and throw. It's into center off the bat of Beer. His second hit. Peralta overruns the bag, and he's just barely back in time. David put the brakes on a little too late there and almost got himself thrown out.
Yeah, initially it was a good idea. David saw the shift was on and nobody was at third base. But you'll see the pitcher immediately run that way. Also, it looked like Alcides Escobar, the shortstop, started to run that direction. He realized there was going to be a defender at third base, so he slammed on the brakes and just able to get back in on his belly.
That's going to get Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, out to the mound. Back-to-back singles lead off the inning against Austin Voth. And this is how it gets started right here. 2 on, nobody out. Cooper Hummel, the hitter. Jim Hickey, one of the most highly respected pitching coaches around. Long run in Tampa Bay with Joe Madden.
Well, it has forced Dave Martinez to get his closer back up in the bullpen. Rainey once again throwing down there.
Second time he's been heating up back there. Cooper is the DH, 0 for 2. He walked in the 4th. Diamondbacks down by 5 in the 9th, trying to make a ball game out of it, and it's a good start to the inning. Peralta at second, Beer at first. Cooper, a switch hitter, bats from the left side. Curveball right on the corner for strike 1.
Rolling breaking ball that time that stayed right in the middle of the strike zone for Cooper Hummel. Just hit the top part of the baseball, fouled it away.
Split doubleheader at Nats Park. Game 2 later this afternoon. Back home at Arizona. D-backs Live pregame show at 3:30 on Bally Sports Arizona Extra. Tanner Rainey, as you said, back warming up in the bullpen. Cooper down 0-2. It's up in the air in that win. Thomas and Robles. And Victor Robles has it. Peralta stays put at second. Jake McCarthy now. Jake had a single in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3. Well, both the steal, a lot of strikes with that curveball down and away like that. Upstairs with a curve that time, and it's 0-2. Rolls away from Ruiz, not too far away, however. Well, Peralta's had a 2-hit game. Seth Beers had a 2-hit game. Playing game number 10, and we've had 7 players now get 2 hits in a game. One, two. Got him. Went to the cut fastball. Both gets his first strikeout. 2 outs in the 9th.
It's a great location for that cutter against the left-handed hitter. Starts it on the corner. A little downward movement as it cuts inside off the plate.
Well, it's up to Sergio Alcantara, who is 0 for 3 to keep this going. We saw him homer Saturday in New York. You all right? You almost blew out of the booth. We almost lost Brenly there on that last gust. All right. Keeper's been getting that call all day. He's turning around saying, hey, what happened to that?
Yeah, that's been a strike all day. That high breaking ball that never gets to the zone.
I thought we had to work that out where that's a strike. Not so much. 1-0.
Citi Field, the Giants with a 4-1 lead over the Mets. Jock Peterson with his third home run, rather, as a member of the Giants.
He wearing his pearls?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Got his hair dyed blonde. He's got the pearls. Got the whole thing going.
Did you notice the Braves World Series rings?
I saw they got them.
There's a pearl on it.
Oh,
You know, usually it's diamonds and
that's a good idea. I like
emeralds
that.
or rubies or whatever matches your team color. They have a little pearl on their ring.
I saw Freddie Freeman's first Dodger homer came against his old team yesterday. Well, 3-0 on Alcantara. Christian Walker in the on-deck circle. He would bat for Herrera. Christian on the bench to start this one. There's your 3-0 fastball. Two on and 2 out in the 9th. On the ground to Josh Bell. And that's the ball game. Nationals take the first of this 2-game set today at Nats Park. 6-1 the final. Dalton Varsho's solo homer in the 3rd, the only Diamondback run today.
Yeah, once again, just a lack of timely hitting. The Nationals were able to come up with some big knocks with runners in scoring position. The Diamondbacks once again today 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position.
We'll take a quick break, wrap it up.